Hi everyone. Well, I wanted to talk today a little bit about leg aids because we've had a very interesting question come in, and it made me understand that possibly I haven't been clear enough about leg aids, because I keep going on about how one needs to be leg dominant and not hand dominant. And when you are using your hands, you need to use leg aids. But the reverse of that is that when you are using leg aids, it does involve your hands to some extent as well. Now, the basis of the question was this, that the person riding the horse was trying to get the horse to leg yield. And every time she asked the horse to leg yield, it would break into a canter. So it's very much to do with what you're doing with your hands as well. But as always with me, those kind of questions immediately make me wonder how much of the preparatory work has been done on the horse. Because you will recall in numerous previous lessons how I've said you have to teach one thing at a time. And I'm wondering if the horse was prepared enough to teach it how to leg yield, and also what that lesson entailed. Was it asked just to leg yield, or were the simple first steps done to get it to leg yield correctly? Because here's my take. If you do the groundwork correctly and you sensitize the horse and get it to move away from the touch on its flank with your hand, then you're already setting it up to move away from the feel of that leg aid, the heel against its flank. But preparatory to that, does the horse know how to flex and stand still? Does it have patience? Because without patience, and I keep going on about this, without patience, you're never going to teach a horse. So when you are getting it to learn to flex, and I will show you quickly how I go about that, but I want the horse to stand still, and when I touch that head collar, that it puts its head to where I'm asking it, flexes it there and keeps it there until I let go, okay, with a very light touch.
The next thing you can do, if you can't stop the horse walking around like this, is try and join the halter rope with the tail. You see, she keeps on walking around because she's feeling that I'm pulling her around with that nose. Now I've got her there. But then the next thing that you can do is make your fingers rigid, or use your thumb and push them in just in front of the shoulder blade where the neck starts. There's a sensitive area there, and if you can get your fingers and push in there, it stops the horse's front end moving towards you. So you're anchoring its back end with the tail, and I'll try and show you that now, as I get this horse to where you can see that if I can join the two, there I've got them joined. Now take my fingers and push them in there into that fold where the neck starts and the shoulder blades stop, and that will anchor her front end from moving back towards me. The minute she stands and gets soft, take away the hand. The minute she moves, push back into that, and it's a pressure point, just like somebody pinching the muscle on top of your scapula, your collarbone rather, in your neck. If you pinched in there, it causes a reaction. Now if you push in there, it's uncomfortable for the horse, so it gets her to stand and learn to stand tranquil like this. You can see the rope's nice and loose, and I've made the tail loose because of that, and now she's starting to really understand that when I pull back on that rope, all I'm wanting is for her to put that head back there and not move. You can eventually let the tail go and only use the fingers in the neck, and then you can do away with them. But look there, already she's standing, the rope is loose, I haven't had to pull the tail hard, and if she moves, I'm going to, again, on the left side, I'm teaching her there now because I've done the right, is just try and join that rope. She's dragging me around by the tail, so I'm anchoring the back end here in an attempt to get the rope with my right hand with the tail, and then I will use my left hand into the fold of the neck. You can see what I'm doing here now. because she's standing, just to help her, there's a sensitive bit on the bridge of her nose that if you just poke with a fingernail, it gets that head to come back easier and easier. But there she's starting to stand nicely now, and just put her head in. And if she moves, I'm going to press into that neck again in front.
That's the start of that leg yield, because when you now want to flex a horse's head to one side, I wanted to learn to flex there and only move when you put the leg aid on and you move your hands where they should across to get the horse to do that initial leg yield to, let's say, to the right. The horse's head will be left. You are using a left aid to move it obliquely forward. Now again, are you just going straight to that lesson? Because the correct way would be to take it against a barrier and get it to walk straight. Let's assume you've done all the groundwork. The horse is able to flex and stand still. It has the patience to do that. It also has been taught to move away from that leg aid and get its backside to move around its front side, which is one of the lessons in the groundwork that I teach. When you teach them to bend like that, the next thing you're going to do is to teach them to move the backside when you ask it, not when it wants to move. So you start here. You see, she puts her head easy now. Okay? So when she puts her head with me, now I take my hand and I touch one. And she moves one step at the back, I stop. No more problem. So she starts to understand she only moves when I push her. So here's the head, she's not moving. I've got my hand in the neck to stop her moving. Now I take my hand, and you see this horse, with some horses you have to really push, because when you're riding and you want the horse to turn its backside, you take your leg and you push. There you go. Go on now. You push here. Okay? So now I'm teaching her to move. Okay? To move the backside around the front side. No. You just move when I tell you. That's beautiful. Good. Us. Good girl. Good girl. Well done, you. Good job. Whoa. Don't move backwards. I don't want that. Stand, bend, just bend. That's what I want. Good girl. Okay, so she's going to stand and turn and put your head like this. Very easy. I don't want you to move until I ask you. That's it. You see, now with the touch, she moves the backside. Now, if you've done all of that, now walk the horse next to the barrier, flex its head in. We're talking about leg yielding to the right. Flex its head left and put that aid on. Now when you do that, if the horse takes 1 or 2 steps as a leg yield like that, stop and let it walk straight. And then pick up the lesson again and let it walk 1 or 2 steps and let it go straight. because that barrier stops it actually turning, it stops it moving in a circle to the left. It's going to have to move to the right hand side, leading with the outside front leg and the back left leg rather, tracking to that right foreleg. That's the leg yield. And your hands work obliquely behind each other this way, because you want the left hand here to come across slightly so that the neck rein is lying on the horse's neck, okay? And that your hands move slightly across to the right. But with the right hand now able to stop the horse turning when you pull on that inside rein, you are leading it with that outside rein with the right hand. So it's working slightly in front of your left hand. So if it halfway gets that, then stop and gradually build that lesson up to where you're getting the horse much more turned with its backside out, and it's tracking to the right much more. But to get that done, you have to put slightly more pressure on the reins, so that as you do this and it does, you get that backside out. Now put slightly more pressure and urge the horse forward, and you will find that very soon it will actually flex that way and move. But first teach it with 1 or 2 steps, then move to that against a barrier before you move out into the arena.
Once I have taught the horse to move its back end round its front end, I can then move on to teach a leg yield. So what I'm going to do is to flex the horse's head to the left here with my left hand coming slightly across my body and my right hand leading, and you will see me having to really juggle with the reins to get it to try and go forwards rather than turn, and just to drop its head and get its head down and the reins loose. Have a look and see my hand position here, and I'm showing you how with the right hand I'm putting it slightly forward and then backwards, just to coax the horse to move forwards while it stays in that flexed position, coming off my left leg. And if it starts to get a little bit sluggish there, you will see I've used the whip just to get it to move forward with a tap on the backside. Once it's soft like that, I can then move both hands back to the left side to make it turn.
Now, if you've got a horse that when you move into the arena keeps breaking into a canter when you are asking it to leg yield, don't be scared to just use that one rein stop. Get it to circle, circle, circle as long as it wants to move, and when it stops, let go the pressure. Start again. It starts to get hyper, bend it, let it walk around in a circle as long as it wants to, until it stops, let go the pressure. Come on, get that head in here. Get the head in here. And if it won't, I'm going to go back and stop this horse and convince it that actually I want its head here. Okay? Come. And if it won't give it, I'm going to stop and bend it like that again. That's better. Come on. Just now I can progress to doing that to make sure this horse puts its head on. Now it's much softer on the inside after that. until it understands that if it's going to break into a canter, it's going to actually just be stopped with that one rein. It's going to just walk around and around. And remember that a horse is out of its comfort zone when it's moving its feet. So by just getting it to do its own little circle there, holding one rein, you are definitely taking it out of a comfort zone. The minute it stops, you release the pressure on the reins, you've taken your leg off, so it's back in a comfort zone, it's standing still. So that would be how I would stop a horse actually breaking into a canter. First the groundwork with the suppling, then moving its backside round its front side and getting sensitized to that touch on its flank. Then on the barriers with 1 or 2 steps, quit, 1 or 2 steps, quit. And once it's got that, now build that up on the barrier first to where the horse is really able to move in that leg yield, and then take it into the arena. And as I'm saying, if it gets hyped there, go back to the one rein stop.